And we're back, just like that, Zan. Mexico trip done.
Wow, what a ride.
Oh, boy, what a ride it was. And you guys will probably never know about half that ride or more than that.
Which is for the best.
But how are you guys doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast, episode number 25. We are back in Adam from Mexico. And Zan, I would say a week, 2 days left of this week by the time we record this. It is pre-recorded, but I'm sure by the time this does go live, still so many videos coming out about the news we did miss and we're catching up on. It's been crazy as per usual. We each have stories, of course, to share with all of you guys. For any new or old listeners returning, what is up? We're the Esports Rewind podcast. Me and Xanath are here. We break down the latest, craziest, and biggest esports gaming news we've heard throughout the week. So we hope you guys all enjoy. Ready to get it cracking, Zan?
Yeah, just real quickly, you preface so people just don't think I roll around with a headband, a ninja headband on.
We pre-record.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's Halloween today. Yeah.
So, one last time. This goes live on Tuesdays. We record on Thursdays. It's Halloween. Happy belated to all of you guys. We're not Naruto running around the freaking office.
No, only one day out of the year we sprint into the office.
So, let's kick it. All right, Xanifer, my first story is actually a pretty wild one.
Let's hit it.
You know I always like hearing your take on these kind of things. It's going to be about Astralis. We've actually not talked about them for quite some time. Largely successful, to their CSGO team. They're decent at League of Legends, have some other projects as well. I think the last time I talked about them, there's actually the Astralis group, and then there's separately Refresh Entertainment. Remember them at all?
Yeah.
They're the tournament.
Little shady.
Yeah, a little shady at first.
Yeah.
They've grown a lot of people out there.
Okay.
Two separate groups. Refresh Entertainment next year for CSGO, already announcing a $4+ million league throughout the year. So great stuff for them. Astralis Group now is the owner of the CSGO team, Astralis, alongside the League of Legends team, Origin, I believe, and then also apparently a FIFA brand up and coming called Future FC. FC stands for football club, by the way.
What a culture.
So they got CSGO, League of Legends, FIFA in the future. Biggest announcement and really discussion point for us as well. They're actually going to IPO sometime late 2019, which does mean for all you non-stock heads out there, they're going to have a stock and a public, I believe, open to the public to be invested into by just the community. Typically we have organizations out there raise rounds of funding. Astralis, to my knowledge, is now the first esports organization to take things public to NASDAQ first for people to openly buy and sell and trade. So, pretty wild. Obviously, we've reached this point here in 2019 already.
Yeah, I think we're as an overall esports community, we were kind of already here a couple years ago from whether or not this was possible. I think the only reason it hasn't is because so many organizations have one or two people. They have a Banks who's the owner, or they have a Nade Shot who's the owner, and they don't want to let go of the reins and bring in all these investors and such because an IPO is normally in a standard business world, that's a pretty good sign that your company is doing well.
Yeah.
And obviously in this kind of circumstance, they have to open their books. And so you can kind of get an idea of, hey, are they making money? And I imagine other orgs haven't been comfortable doing that.
Yeah, and plenty of orgs have not been, as you just said, literally comfortable doing that. We only have heard really FaZe Clan so far even talk about it, and that's, as you mentioned, because people like Banks, they tend to open up about those kind of things and talk about profitability. A lot of organizations don't, and so the next giant question is because of this, when you have investors and you have new people that are going to be very high on you guys expectations-wise, what can you as an IPO then offer back to people that are willing to risk and actually invest into you? Then a giant mystery is, are they going to overinflate themselves? All of a sudden, the value of this is just skyrocketing to a degree it should not be at.
Right.
A lot of factors, especially when it comes to what can you give back to your investors, what can you promise in terms of returns. Yes, there are so many companies out there that are not profitable, that are gigantic. But with esports, it's so much more of a firework. We don't know what direction it's going quite yet. So I'm proud of it. I'm glad. Someone has to take the step.
It's great to see. Yeah, I'm glad. It makes sense that it's Astralis of all people.
Yeah, they are trying to make those bounds, make those leaps, like many of the top dogs are. But certainly, as an investor, you have to think, okay, they have a CS:GO team, a League of Legends team, a FIFA brand that's really not established whatsoever. How much are people going to evaluate these guys, and what is their worth going to be? Finalized as.
It will be really interesting to see.
Very curious.
Yeah, and I'll be very curious to see what kind of financial information comes out of this from the perspective of how are they making their money? Is it very much just hey, because Astralis, the CS:GO side, is making moves constantly, winning tournaments back to back. Is it because of them that this IPO is happening, or is it the league team that's giving them the confidence? With
what's the
franchise
biggest
league?
backer?
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious. That's a really good point to make, especially when this does happen and things become even more public.
Right.
You know, what we're going to see in terms of, okay, what are these organizations? How does books look? How does profitability look? Where are their streams of income really coming in?
I'd love to find out that everything is just BS.
It's in shambles.
It's everything is on fire all the time. Because, I mean, that's what every org owner who
scared of
seems
it.
like, yeah, they all say, hey, we don't make a lot of money, guys.
We are
like,
burning through cash. I mean, it's not really, it's not necessarily a secret.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see what comes of this. Astralis making those first steps. We'll see who follows suit. Typically, organizations, they take their rounds of funding from a select group of investors or a few investors out there. Now we have open to the public. That's going to be Astralis opening their doors. And we'll see what's revealed when those doors are opened.
Alrighty, Jakey boys. So we're going to talk about something that I find fascinating, not so much because I have faith in it, but I find the concept at its core fascinating. So, game launchers. Everybody uses at least one. Everybody uses Steam or EGS, and
there's too many. We've talked about this, I think, very lightly in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people are kind of not happy in general with whichever one they have to use. It's not everybody's got problems to a certain extent.
I think it's a fair statement. Yeah, there's not a perfected one. Maybe
and
a slim one or two that.
Yeah, there's people getting kind of close, but definitely not there yet. Yeah. And so there's this video game developer who actually feels the same way about it, who has had a lot of problems in the past with Steam, like with getting his games up, with getting a proper response. I mean, as a gamer himself, had problems with managing his family and properly filtering things for his daughter and everything, because he was like, yeah, I'm worried I can't put her on Steam because I don't know what Discovery is going to show her.
To be fair, quick preface, for me, a typical gamer, I would say, though, of all the launchers out there, I would say for me, Steam has definitely been by far the most used, by far the most practical. But when it comes to pointing out some more definitive points of why it's not the best, I haven't heard this side of things, so it's already interesting to me. The filter system and such. I don't really think of kids when I think of best launchers. I think I'm selfish. I think of myself.
Of course, and I think one of the good things, or I don't know about good, one of the really smart things that Valve has done with Steam is they've kind of hidden a lot of the problems behind saying like, hey, you know what, we're doing a lot for you. Like, for example, the way you find new games on Steam, it's heavily weighted just based off of what's popular generally and what your friends are playing, not necessarily off of what you yourself are interested in. So it can be hard to find something new that's like actually kind of unique to your specific taste. And this developer, let me grab his name real quick. It's Mick Mullen.
That's a name.
Yeah, right. What his idea he wants to make the Spotify of gaming from a discovery perspective.
Oh, okay. I see where this is going. So you hit up a song. Is there going to be like, okay, I like this song. We'll show you more of this song. I dislike this song.
Or stuff
you won't see it again kind of thing?
Stuff being made in your area, or like, more deeper recommendations based off of your play habits and stuff.
Is this like an add-on thing for a Steam launcher, or is this like a launcher in itself?
He's calling it Turbo Play. It's available in like a very, very closed beta to just influencers and stuff so far. But it's sounding very, very interesting. First of all, one of the very, very different things it's doing is its revenue split with game developers. Right now, pardon me, I got mildly sick in Mexico. Trying not to cough too much for you guys. Yeah, anyway, so Steam split with developers is 70-30. So Steam gets 30%, developers make 70, Epic Game Store is 88-12. They're saying Turbo Play is going to be 90-10.
Okay, so we just keep on giving more and more to developers.
Yeah, just coming out right out the gate with that. And not only that, they're kind of doing something similar to Mixer's bit system, but tying it into moderation, right? And I say that, and it's like, what's going on here? Yeah, right? I had to reread this like 5 times to actually try to like gather like what is this actually? Yeah, so they're calling them tokens, and they're kind of like a loyalty point system. So players, just by playing games through Turbo Play, through completing achievements in games, posting on social, just generally using the platform, you can earn tokens. And each token has a one token to $1 exchange rate.
Okay.
And it's not like they're not saying, hey, your tokens are just fun little tidbits you throw at your friends on occasion. Like, no, you can actually buy games with these.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you can only tip developers? Or
No, yeah, I mean, you can tip developers as well.
But you can also use them as game currency.
You can, tip streamers. You can, You know,
What
given the
streamers, though?
trends, I couldn't find a lot on the streamers thing. It seems almost like they might want to do like a little bit of streaming on the side.
Yeah, because that'll be interesting
like,
how they convert over to other platforms.
Right. Maybe they'll get like a partnership going with Mixer or something
Yeah,
like that.
maybe.
That would make a lot of sense. But anyway, not only that, but the tokens are also part of the platform's moderation system. So say somebody's being really problematic, real toxic on Steam, right? Nothing's really going to happen at the end of the day. Maybe they'll get like a really brief ban, then they'll come back and just do the same thing.
Steam is very bad at pursuing those kind of things, I would say.
And I feel like it's the same way for I don't know a single game launcher that's kind of nailed that.
Yeah, I mean you're not going to get, at least to my knowledge right now, launchers focusing on what in-game or launcher conversations on their I've had plenty of people DM me on based off Steam messages being harassed and nothing's ever been done. It just for a person like Steam, it's not really a top-notch thing to get to.
No, which is why I kind of appreciate that this guy's entire approach to it is, as a consumer himself, what can I do to make the experience better for like everybody involved? So he's saying like, hey, if a person's being super toxic and they get reported a lot for it, then they're gonna have a moderator come look at it every single time that a person gets like reported past a certain amount. And if they're really like pushing the limits, throwing out some like some slurs or something like that, then you'll lose some tokens.
Interesting.
So you'll lose like actual money, and then if you keep doing it past a certain point, you're just gone, like permanently.
Makes a lot of sense.
No, yeah, I mean, it's an actual consequence.
Yeah,
for people.
I mean, it's just it's words right now. You never know if they can actually
you never
pursue
know.
that.
You never know.
When Steam
but,
probably first started, they were probably saying, "Yeah, we'll do the same thing." Things happen. It's a slippery slope when you get too big. All of a sudden, you're not living up to things you first said. So take it with a grain of salt.
Hey, you never know.
At least it's there, though.
It's there, though. The thought process is there.
Yeah.
And they've already got 160 games on board with their system right now.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm curious where it goes because especially with the failure of Epic Games Store, you wonder if they put all that money and time and effort into it, if anyone else really can push the market.
The weird thing is, though,
I mean, 8812 sound great when Epic Games did it, but no one really, when it comes to exclusivity is where I get worried.
Yeah, and they also did say they looked at the Epic Games Store model and they're like, yeah, we don't want to do exclusivity at all. We don't want to do. We want to give people the option.
And maybe they don't, but if Epic does, and if Steam kind of low key does with some of their top games too, what's there left? For the trimmings for this kind of platform.
If nothing else, I mean, if I was an indie game developer, I would go to this platform in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but when you also want to go on Steam too, like you really can.
No, yeah, it's obviously not. And they're addressing this as well by saying they don't want to do exclusivity. They just want their place to be an option. They want it to be the best like consumer. Like if I had to pick a launcher to play on, I'd much rather play on one that like, even from a pure monetary perspective, if I'm getting money for just completing achievements in a game that I like, which is something I would do anyway, then why wouldn't I do it there?
Yeah, and as a developer, you'd want to be on as many platforms as possible, as many launchers as possible. Right. And so, I mean, if Epic seems to be a bit more aggressive about not letting it happen, but if you can get on Steam and Turbo Play, I'm all for it. Is there like a release, like full alpha release date?
They have a general range. They said Q1 2020.
Okay,
so I mean, it's right around the corner. Right around the corner. They're not playing.
So we'll see what exactly happens when they launch, because we've had plenty of problems here and discussions here about launchers and their faulty systems. But I mean, it sounds great. It sounds like it's Steam is here and Epic Games improving on that, and we have Turbo Play improving on that, and hopefully other launchers even further down the line. Right. So we'll see if they can actually take a grasp at it, though, better than Epic did.
Yeah, I probably have a better shot. And if nothing else, people won't hate this store like they hate the Epic Games Store.
All right, Zane. So next up, we have the Twitch versus Mixer war continuing a little bit.
As always.
Latest announcement. I think today we actually announced a couple, but Pokimane was being one of them, hinting at a possibility. I think more so we have a bit more of a hint. I saw some comments. I mean, we played a Twitch clip where it's very clear that Dr. Disrespect has hinted at being paid by Twitch more than Ninja and Shroud were paid by Mixer to join their platform. He was hinting at he was paid more by Twitch to stay. And so it brings to light, of course, the ongoing war, and kind of the general question I have for you is, can this tide really be turned? I saw a comment, though. We played the clip. I thought it was fairly obvious, and this dude goes, what kind of hint is this, dude? I don't even know if he opened his ears during the clip or heard the right words. It was very clear to me that Dr. Dis was actually hinting at that, but he got really mad at me for seeing that there was no evidence whatsoever. I don't know why I even brought that up. It kind of just turned me the wrong way. My overall question to you is about this. Can they really turn this tide? Let me give you some numbers also brought to us by Doc. The generalizations after the Goth and Shroud signing is we have about 50,000 current viewers on Mixer, maybe a bit more.
Overall viewer base?
I think overall on the entire platform across those 3 majors and everyone else below them, around 50,000, maybe a bit more or less given the day. On Twitch, around 1.5 million concurrent viewers given the day, give or take, a couple 100,000. So general question to you is, can they really turn this tide? And if so, how can they do it?
I think it's easy, but it's aggressively hard at the same time, which obviously very contradictory, but, hear me out. I think Twitch's problem has always been a lack of a lack of conversations with the community, a lack of saying anything at all about what's going on. You know, I think at this point in time, it is 2019, you need a community manager to kind of keep everything in line, let everybody know, hey, here's where our vision for the platform is. And I can't think of a season. I was when we heard about the Goth pickup, I was like, okay, so what is the benefit actually to staying on Twitch? And I couldn't really think of a ton outside of the one big one, which is the huge one, which is just the huge viewership, right? Obviously. And aside from that, I think from based off of what Mixer has said they have planned anyway, from a functionality perspective, it does sound a little bit more interesting than Twitch. Although Twitch does have the huge bonus from a viewership perspective of being able to have a Twitch Prime and everything.
Yeah, the subs thing is definitely a huge thing as well. I mean, it's a free income for a lot of streamers out there, at least their communities, to just drop a free sub. So they definitely have their advantages, but I mean, like you said, and you're kind of getting to, Mixer certainly has theirs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Mixer could improve their functionality just a little bit, make things a little bit more stable, add a couple features in.
VODs, clips, maybe if they enabled Sparks for everyone. Right. It's weird. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was real quick, I think if Mixer and Game Pass kind of linked, then that would be that in a way.
I mean, there needs certainly to be a way to match the sub power, the income power for streamers to switch over. I think there's certainly a time as well when you are so saturated like Twitch for up-and-coming middle ground streamers to maybe make the move as well. But also you got to look at the big dogs. The reasons for moving right now, it seems to be not even a Twitch versus Mixer, but Amazon versus Microsoft kind of thing.
At this point.
And what they can offer those guys.
Yeah.
If it's not money on Twitch, then it's probably the subs. If it's not money or subs and the base viewership being bigger, if you're already established, there's plenty of reasons for middle ground and growing streamers to move to Mixer if they can retain their audience in terms of what Microsoft can possibly give them with money. So maybe the subs aren't there, but I think certainly when it comes to Amazon versus Microsoft and what they're offering these guys for the future, if you're a variety streamer, I think Mixer could certainly take a stab. But obviously that separation is still very, very vast.
Of course.
You can sign Tfue and Osmon and Lyric and Summit tomorrow, and the battle still wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
But they're inching. They're certainly inching, and I think that, like you said, the Game Pass thing, the additions, they have to be there constantly. Not just signing a lot of people. They got to make other improvements in functionality as well.
If they can figure out one way to just actually get the viewership to migrate from Twitch to Mixer, because just a streamer or a YouTuber saying I'm going to a different channel, even like a YouTuber switching from one channel to the next, you're gonna lose subscribers.
Yes.
Even if they're active, you're just gonna lose some.
It's a risk you take.
Yeah, I think if they can maybe if they offered some kind of deal, it's like, hey, drop your Twitch account, join Mixer, you get free subs, or you get free Game Pass. You know, some kind of incentive to get people actually
that could
specifically to leave Twitch.
But it's like even then they're still offering you the free Prime subs.
Of
so
course,
it's like
it's gonna be rough.
Microsoft buys Amazon and moves the Prime subs to Mixer. I don't know. It's obviously a very complex battle, but at least they are. It's not just a Ninja announcement like we thought it was going to be. It's definitely progressing day by day, and we're going to keep on covering it. The ground is being closed slowly, but there's a lot of ground to cover and a lot of things that needed to be added on with that. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of videos on it as well. But as the war does go on, Twitch is certainly firing back, and we'll see if it's enough, which it seems to be for now. Plenty.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this next one real brief. We have a lot to do today, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Coming back. I will say, I do appreciate that we just got off the plane last night. We're already back in. We're grinding.
We're here. We're cutting coffee, caffeine.
Too many energy drinks. But anyway, so everybody knows, I feel like it's an openly discussed thing at this point, that League of Legends esports loses money for Riot to this day. Like, they put like hundreds of millions of dollars into it. And like, just, I'm not saying that.
Loses money for Riot or loses money for teams?
I mean, both. I mean, we know, like.
I would say more so teams. I don't know about Riot.
The teams take a bigger hit, but I do know.
Is it a public fact that Riot's losing money? Because I think Riot's making plenty.
No, yeah, because I mean, they're making plenty, and the plenty is enough to kind of offset it a little bit. But I mean, I think it was last year or something, their head of global events was like, yeah, we're putting in like over 100 mil, and we have not broken even. We're getting closer every year, but we're not breaking even.
I think they're currently profiting, but they're still rebounding. I mean, I haven't fact checked this, so maybe you need to, man, because people are going to get mad at you.
Last time I looked into it, they still haven't said. They've been super vague about it. And I feel like if they were actually making money, if they were comfortable saying they were making money, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops.
Well, but
they'd be like,
okay, you see, this is where I get worried when you say these kind of things, because you look at it right now, you look at all the leagues they have, all the skins they sell. I mean, all the things they sell in game themselves. Of course, I think they are landing more ad deals, and especially when it comes to leagues, I believe like the LPL and the LCK are certainly making money and a lot of money in ad revenue and their sponsorship deals. I get worried when you say this kind of stuff because Riot as a company, I believe, is making plenty of money.
No, they definitely are. And I'm not saying Riot overall is losing money. I'm saying
because that's what you opened up with. And someone's pissed off.
I said League Esports specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, all the money that they invest in that. Yeah.
As in the broadcast itself, not the game itself. The broadcasting of the esport.
The broadcasting, the whole hosting events,
the production and all that.
Everything, like getting teams together.
League of Legends is profitable.
Investing.
The esports side may not be.
No, yeah, just because they have to put.
Still, we're riding the line here. But anyway, hit me with it.
But anyway, I just wanted to. We'll be real brief about this because we got a little bit of detail from the head of business development and sponsorship for the LEC.
Okay.
That is the League of Legends European Championship for the non-LoL fans out there.
The European League side things.
Yep. And he said. And he didn't give any details on this. And then this is very specifically how I found this, because I was looking up the fact that they were losing money on esports, right? I remembered that. I was like, let me check in on that, see if they're getting profitable yet. Found this article, and dude says they are, but doesn't expound upon that at all. He doesn't even say they're profitable. He just says they're not losing money in a very specific legal way. That's like, it's not costing us money, but I mean.
It sounds like profit to me, Zan.
I don't know.
If he said he's not losing money, it sounds like profit.
See, but they said, like, yeah, technically we don't lose out on it, but so it could be the type of thing where it's like soft money, where they're actually losing money, but because of the perceived value, they're gaining money, so it balances out in a weird way. Otherwise, I feel like they would just say, hey, we're making money, we're profitable. But anyway, we got some details on how exactly they make money for the league, for every league. I say league, I mean like
I think people
esports league.
They get you.
Anyway, in comparison to traditional sports, for a second, the revenue breakdown is something like this roughly. You make 40% from your sponsors, 40% from broadcasting, and 20% from like event sales and merch at a game or whatever, right? Apparently, for League of Legends, it's something like 80% sponsors, 15% broadcast, 5% event sales and merch. So
that's very lopsided.
No, yeah, very.
That does make a bit of sense.
So, yeah.
Like the MasterCards, the Visas, whatever has sponsored Worlds so far. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is surprisingly low for like merch and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad they don't include game sales on that.
Yeah, this is very specific.
This is very esports.
Yeah, this is
censored.
Just the esports side of things, and of course he did mention like the in-game sales and everything. That is the overall broader company's bread and butter, because at the end of the day, the esports side is to promote playing the game in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah, the esports. Yeah, if they had to drop one or the other, they would drop the esports. It's just how it. And that's not to say the esports is bad. It's just there's the priority is on one side as opposed to the other, and apparently part of that is because they've just chosen to not be exclusive to one platform or another for streaming. And
well, the Twitch, they're definitely for Worlds. But
I mean, this is like broad strokes, as opposed to like say, I don't know enough about sports to say like, ESPN is streaming the football cup world. What is the
World Cup? Yeah, I guess but
No, the big Super Bowl. That's
it's a weird way that he worded it, to be honest.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like I'm trying to explain this from a sports perspective, and I don't have that at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's very interesting that the sponsors are this big of a deal, and it seems like that might be the case in other esports as well, which makes it kind of more important when you see that, like, you see one sponsor drop out. You gotta imagine what chunk of that percentage are they losing.
And we've seen that before. When a TO has a main sponsor drop or can't pay, the TO generally can't pay. Like, we've seen at least a few times. I know before in the past where if you lose one sponsor,
no, yeah, that's a
well,
blow.
according to this, it's a huge portion of your income. So it could be a bit worrying for the future if you know, let's say MasterCard / Visa, whoever wants to sponsor League of Legends in the future, all of a sudden they're out and no one wants to fill their shoes. According to him, 80% of sponsors are now gone. 80% of income's now gone.
Yeah, and then
what happens to the esport?
Yeah, you don't have an esport anymore. That's what happens.
So I think they are maybe riding the line. I don't think I'd ever be worried about them not being profitable and hanging on to the esport for.
Well, I mean, in League of Legends case, in particular, I'd say it's probably one of the least problematic esports.
Yep.
It's the least violent. It's probably the most attractive to sponsors.
Most probably worldwide, international. I mean, obviously, concurrently, viewership-wise, it's certainly one of the top, if not the top. So we'll see what they come out with in the future, and if their sponsors do continue.
Yep.
I'm not worried about it quite yet.
Oh, I'm not worried about it either. I think we'll have League forever at this point. But
unless the esports bubble pops and all the sponsors back out and we lose League of Legends Worlds, RIP 2024.
After that Blitzchung thing, apparently Mitsubishi 2 days afterwards very quietly was like, "Hey, yeah, we're done with Hearthstone. Take our name off all your stuff."
Jesus.
And like
bring it up. You said very, very brief. You said very
brief. True, we're done.
Different story for a different time. League of Legends is profitable. But
theoretically,
God,
we don't know. I don't know that they are. It's not a bad thing that they aren't. Most companies lose money, kind of. Well, we could talk financials later. Well, side podcast.
All right. When I say very, very brief, I'm going to keep it very, very brief.
I
didn't expect when you said that to be like a very debatable topic about League of Legends, and I want to be the perspective that we protect ourselves against all like the diehard fans. Are like, we're so profitable, Zan. You hater.
Yo, then show me some proof, my guy.
Yeah. But anyway, mine's actually about Steam. Speaking of launches out there, their partnership with EA. Electronic Arts, for all of you guys who do not know, they actually partnered last week at the point of this recording. Obviously a few days old as well, but still a huge announcement, I would say. We talked about this earlier as well. Definitely bigger for the developers or the launchers or the companies involved, not so much for us players.
Right.
With that becomes the access to their, what is it called, Game Access? Is that what you said?
I think it's EA Access.
EA Access.
Point.
Yeah. So you pay that subscription fee, you get access to a lot of their games, much like on Origin. And so I would say exposure-wise, I think it's a great partnership to have. And when it comes to what we actually benefit, though, did you have anything that was kind of major? I didn't really see too much in the announcement because it seemed big. And then you look into it, you're like, well, is it?
No, yeah. I mean, I think they made a bigger deal out of it than it really is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's nice to not have to play games on Origin anymore because Origin,
big benefit.
Yeah, that thing was garbage.
Clunky.
Yeah, like really.
Used it for Anthem. Rest in peace, Anthem. Woo.
Yo, I mean, it's still going strong.
It is still going. Yeah, they just announced
Halloween event.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they need because that shit's already a ghost town, but you know.
I mean, but yeah, that's probably the major benefit is in terms of you get to select your launcher more, and certainly, I mean, at the end of the day, you're still paying the price.
Right.
This time around, you just might be paying a subscription fee. Besides that, either way, though, it kind of just adds to Steam's powerhouse in banking against other launchers out there. But certainly, of the big gaming companies out there, this past week the biggest announcement in terms of that. So now more offerings between EA and Steam. We'll see how it does progress in terms of loot boxes and crates and the microtransactions, because we have seen companies like Valve with this partnership. EA partners with Valve / Steam. Valve is actually taking a lot of restrictions over the past few weeks, especially with CSGO. And so we'll see how the market's affected by this, because Steam does have a market. So if we're going to try and twist this and clickbait this a little bit, EA Games, Steam market, are they going to have eventually tradable stuff?
Oh, I hope not, because EA might be the word.
I don't think so, because it'd be so egregious.
No,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they don't even. They are
but couldn't
so.
You see it, Zan?
They are so shameless, though. Mr. Like surprise mechanics about your loot boxes over here.
Bro, buy your NCAA 20 jersey on Steam Market and certain players are now being.
That needs to go.
The possibilities.
Let me just say, sports games they make me furious.
They're probably the worst.
EA's specifically, because they make so much money and they don't fix anything ever.
Because they don't have to yet.
Exactly.
Every traditional sport manager game or story mode game does so well. But either way, sorry.
No, yeah.
Great announcement. Let's see if they keep it a great announcement. Kept it brief.
All right, Jake, this is one we could talk around for a while, but let's try not to.
Yeah, we can try our best.
Anyway, so we all know esports is no longer the super niche industry that it used to be. Very mainstream.
We're so big.
In fact, I was reading a report out of the University of Syracuse that by 2021 they predict that our viewership numbers will be on par with traditional sports, if not more likely better.
Oh God, you're just dropping. Oh man.
2021. And that's not even what I'm
talking.
talking. That's not even the story I'm going to talk about.
Why
is
do
about.
you have to bring up such controversial points that people are going to hate us for?
They can hate me. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll take
sides. Who is going to argue that by 2021 we couldn't swing that?
A lot of people.
Who's going to argue that?
No. Okay, because you just depend on the little gaming community that we have to side with us on everything. But there's going to be a lot of football football fans and American football fans and basketball fans that'll say, "No, Zan, that's not true." Let me preface by saying one thing before you go on, okay?
Shoot.
I like to oppose Zan on these kind of things because we like to be a little neutral together. 2021 to me seems to be a bit of a stretch because when I look at NFL, and I think
it was very faster than I would ever assume.
Okay, I think that could be correct for a lot of traditional sports, but when it comes to the top ones being NFL and football, at soccer for us Americans, especially when it comes to the big events, I don't think we'll be anywhere near that for a long, long time. Anything else, I think, is pretty much free game, and that
you never know.
I think it's a fair statement to make. That's only 5% of traditional sports. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near there for a long time. Anything else, though, NBA, MLB, the lesser traditional sports, I think you're right. But tell me about this study because that's a statement and a half.
Okay, yeah, I'm not talking about this study. That study specifically. I'm talking about another research paper actually. That I love research papers.
Fair enough. And we know you do.
Yeah, but anyway. This new popularity that we have is kind of a problem because now cybersecurity people are taking notice, and now they're like, how can we make life bad for esports and gaming? How can we profit?
Are we not going to talk about the viewership growing?
We can kind of in this, and it's because the
What's the segue?
It's because the viewership is growing that this is becoming a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, because now it's becoming much more lucrative for hackers to take advantage of esports specifically.
I get that completely.
Yeah, so what this research paper has been looking at is what exactly are we going to see in the next few years, and how is that going to look for the esports and gaming community as a whole? So basically, the market for gaming and esports related accounts, say buying an account, apparently is now just as saturated and just as popular as the market for buying actual credit cards for hackers.
Wow. So buying Steam accounts, in-game accounts, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yes. It's which I would never think.
I mean, if they do have thousands of dollars of value on them, I mean that's a lucrative market.
Yeah, definitely, right?
Especially when you look at the vulnerable ages that own those accounts.
Especially the lack of security that I imagine a lot are have.
Epic Games included at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in what the bigger story here is how I think hackers are apparently, according to this research paper, they're going to start targeting actual game developers and events, esports events and streams specifically.
Which we've already seen.
Yep.
The esports and gaming data breach of 2019 has come to a tremendous close. We've had so many over the past few months.
See, the thing is, none of those were even really hackers. They were just accidental
Yeah, they were leaks almost by the people that were on the team. So imagine if someone's actually physically trying day in, day out.
A person who was willing to spend the time to actually search.
We're in trouble, folks.
No, yeah. So apparently, DDoS services for gaming specifically are so cheap right now. They're in the $10 per month range. And they're just offering say you don't like Shroud, right? And you see Shroud is streaming a new game. And you're just you know what, let me DDoS Shroud real quick. So let me just put in a request and done. Shroud can no longer play. Say you are just say the OWL is going on, right? And you're you know what, I could make some money real quick. So let me DDoS them during their event and then make them pay ransom to get their servers back.
Or bet on the opposing team, or
I mean, and they did this
ransom,
research paper.
Blackmail, might not work out too well, but yeah, you never know.
You would think not, but apparently it's a huge problem because apparently it's so easy to DDoS a lot of these companies because they don't have good enough security. Like in a very brief look that they took in this research paper, I'm not saying the name of the paper specifically because I don't want people to find it because there's so much scary information in here that could be
useful
so
to hackers?
so easily if you don't. I would say even if you're not a hacker, if you're just like a random dude.
You'd think if they could hack, man, they probably are going to find this article.
Well, if they can hack, yes. My concern is the random people who have money who will just say, hey, here's $50.
Or ducks.
Yeah, or ducks. You know, $50 would be a little bit more lucrative, I imagine. A little bit more hassle to transport. But anyway. So yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, you briefly touched on match fixing. Apparently, that alongside illegal gambling are also going to skyrocket.
Oh, for sure, especially in China and the Asian region. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
The corruption's only going to get more insane, and the corruption has a wide lens. So I mean, obviously DDoSing, hacking accounts, match fixing, and then
botting accounts.
That's all in the lens of I would say corruption.
Yeah, absolutely. And apparently, according to this article, or this paper rather, if you do not have two-factor authentication, you need it right now on all of your stuff. Because it is...
I would say that's a fair statement.
Hackers are actively looking at this point to take your Steam account from you and sell it. And hey, maybe you get it back at the end of the day. Maybe you get it back in 6 months. But they're actively trying to the extent where they've specifically written like software, like malware, to look through your computer, see, hey, does this person play Call of Duty? Let me lock his Call of Duty account, make him pay to get it back. And if you spent thousands of hours on the game, then what are you gonna do? Pay the $500 to get your account back? You're just gonna take the hit. You know, and it sucks for everybody involved, but it's just the new reality that we gotta be aware of.
I think we're definitely entering the new era of what once was, being hacked on being almost like trade scammed on games. Trade scamming is always going to be a thing, but now we just have so many other options in terms of what people can take and steal and dive into of yours. And so I think it's incredibly fair based off what we first started talking about. The viewership, the player base, we're only growing. And in a growing market, you're going to see people take advantage of the newer player base, even the existing player base.
Absolutely.
And when there's a growing market out there, there's a growing way to exploit that growing market. So just be careful, everybody.
Yeah, be on guard.
Every possible way you can be careful. You're going to look back and say you should have done it. You should be doing it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ourselves probably included.
Oh, I take all the precautions. I
know you do.
I have like fake credit cards, or not fake, but like
Christ.
They're like digital cards that I put my actual card into, so nobody has my actual card number. So worst case, they try to take money from the fake card.
I'm not quite like that.
No, it's easy.
Next week we're gonna talk about. I want you to revisit, please, though, that first story.
2021. Oh yeah, I've still got the research paper.
Heck yeah, we'll tap into that next week for sure. Then.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Episode 25, one and done. We hope you guys all enjoy. We're back here next week. Before that, though, Xanifer, any closing announcements?
Yeah, real quick. As always, if you want to listen to us, the Esports Rewind, get your esports news weekly dose. Like, on the go. Say, you're walking around, doing some errands, going to the grocery store.
Going outside.
Yeah, which we should all do a little bit more, probably.
And you want me in your ear or us in your ear?
Yeah, check us out on the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That is PREEDICTION, Prediction with 2 E's. Follow us on there. Check us out. We get sponsors on there. That's how we kind of make a little bit of money from the podcast, and it really helps us out. So hey, if you want to support us, maybe go download an episode and check it out. Also a bunch of different, also really cool esports podcasts on there. So hey, you never know, you might find something else you like.
Yeah, you can catch us on Twitter.
Of course.
Instagram.
Instagram are doing a lot more there, definitely. Unique content there.
The website, or as always, me on the YouTube channel. And that's going to be about it. Episode 25.
Episode 25.
We're still getting back into the gist of things here from Mexico, guys.
It's rough.
The energy is it's coming back. It's slowly but surely. Still draining as always, but we always appreciate you guys.
Definitely.
A lot did happen while we were gone. 60K plus onwards and upwards with all of you guys behind us. So as always.
Oh yeah, the merch line dropped. Thank you guys for all the support. We got a couple people already picking up shirts and everything. Like really and truly means the world to us. Glad you guys like it. Got better stuff coming for you down the line.
More is definitely coming. Keep on recommending things in the comments, guys. If not stories, then if you have ideas for merch, Zan loves working on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
More coming sometime soon. As always, though, thank you guys for watching the Esports Rewind podcast. We'll see you guys back here at the same time next week.
Cheers.
Cheers. We'll see you homies soon. Peace.